For years, this Southeast Portland neighborhood has watched the city's homeless crisis grow.
I've been here 13 years, so I know, and it has never been this bad, you know?
Ruth lives next to a group of RVs that have been there for about a month, and she says it's dangerous.
It's really scary. This one man ran back on my place all bloodied and everything. Had a knife, he had a gun, you know?
Ruth's neighbors installed security cameras and orange cones to try and deter homeless people from parking or setting up tents.
How could you fix it? Can you really fix it? Will it ever be fixed?
In July, the city of Portland enacted a ban on camping on public property or public streets and sidewalks, only if there is a reasonable alternative shelter. That means anyone who refuses the offer of shelter multiple times could face up to a $100 fine, up to a week in jail, or both.
They're making it illegal to be homeless, it feels like.
Since the ban went into effect, 3 people have been arrested, according to Portland police records.
That hasn't done. I don't know if it's doing downtown, but around here, nothing's changed.
Oh my God, they know better than that, you know, because this is really crazy down here, and they know it is.
In July, we found the first man arrested for violating the ban.
This is where I used to stay at.
Turns out the Multnomah County Sheriff, Nicole Morrissey O'Donnell, refused to book him, and he was released.
I don't like being forced into something with no choice. There's a tiny home, you're going in it, and you can't do nothing about it, right? No, I can. I'll go the jail route.
The sheriff later released a statement saying she will only book people in jail who pose a genuine danger to the public, and that does not include people whose only offense is living unsheltered. Fast forward to this week, law enforcement's role in enforcing the ban continues to be limited.
I'm kind of surprised, honestly. Like, I haven't seen anybody around me dealing with law enforcement.
That's because Portland police officers only step in when city crews ask them to. And a spokesperson for Mayor Keith Wilson's office tells us the majority of people who have violated the ban accepted the offer of shelter. But that's not the case for Vanessa, who just moved under an overpass carrying I-205.
In some cases, moving once or twice a week, it seems like. So you're never really settled anyways.
Yeah, and during that process, are you getting offered any shelter or any services?
And all the times that they've moved in, I've been offered shelter or housing one time.
Did you accept it?
I tried to, but being trans, they offered me housing in a men's shelter, which I told them just honestly wasn't an option for me. They say it is. There's supposed to be a lot of housing available, but getting into it it's jumping through a lot of hoops.
Just take it from Andy.
After calling 311 multiple times a day.
Andy lives in a tent between these boulders, meant to stop people like her from setting up camp.
Me and my partner, we've been trying so hard, dude. So hard for like a year now.
Okay, so lots of layers to all this. But first, let's talk about the first 3 arrests of people who violated the camping ban. We know about the first man, and I can tell you he is still on the streets because I saw him last week. As for the other 2 people, they were given a court date and they both showed up to their hearings. That's according to the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. However, during those arraignments, there was no public defender available, so a motion was made to dismiss the cases. The state opposed that motion and a judge denied it. So both people were released back out onto the streets with another court date for next month. In the meantime, we would love to hear your thoughts on the ban and the enforcement or lack thereof so far. Just email the story at kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail 503-226-5090. Before we move on, I want to go back to Andy. She's that young homeless woman you saw at the end of the story there. So I'm not sure how she ended up on the streets, but she's 26 years old and desperately wants to get off the streets. And I'm not just saying that. I've covered homelessness in Portland for about 3 years now, and it's not often that you meet someone who is actively trying to get into housing or shelter as much as she is. Usually people are tied up in an addiction or a relationship, or they don't want to leave their pet or vehicle. There was always something or someone seemingly tying them to street life. Well, that doesn't appear to be the case with Andy. Here's some more of our interview with her today, where she talks about the lengths she's gone or will go to get indoors. Listen.
After calling 311 multiple times a day for like every day, and then finally they told me, oh, you already have an outreach person. And then I tried reaching out to him, and I have gotten no reply at all whatsoever since then. I tried calling their office where they stay at or where they work at, and I've even gotten no response there. I've tried flagging down officers 2 different times. I've seen them driving by, and I flagged them down asking them for a referral. I've gone to the fire department and knocked on their door. I've I don't want to do this anymore, but I've contemplated setting my own camp on fire, in hopes that they put me in one due to the emergency. I've tried getting it for medical reasons, any reasons that I've gone to the hospital or whatever. I've asked.
Sit here, do you think, in this spot for a few days?
So for the last 7 months, we've actually been right here under the bridge, or we've been across the street on private property, and we've only been jumping back and forth because we've told all the agencies and everything like that where we stay, and we don't want to move anywhere else in case they come to give us a tiny home or something.
That's smart. I will reach out and see what I can do.
Okay, so I reached out to the city's outreach team and told them about her. We'll see what happens.